Yo. It's been a while since I've been live, so I thought I'd jump on. I was getting my nails done today, because I do lady things sometimes. Look how bright and shiny they are. And I'm just going to jump straight in. You guys can always catch the replay. If you want to see the whole Jack and Ori story time with Noli, you can always watch the replay if you jump in. So I was getting my nails done today, and there was a lady in there who I don't think I've met before, but maybe I have and I just forgot. And I was talking to my lovely lady who does my nails, and we were talking about work and just, how it's quite interesting how I've noticed, like, I've had a little influx of impact on people's lives, which has been really nice. Even like people that are not clients, like friends or just people who are kind of in my orbit. And I think the more I've been living into my human design and understanding my ability to transform just by kind of living my life, I don't actually have to do a lot in order to create change for people if they're in a place where they truly desire change. So I've noticed a little influx of people around the age of 30, guys actually, bizarrely, who are experiencing their Saturn return. If you don't know what that is, then you can go ahead and ask Dr. Google. And they're starting to question a lot of things, and they're starting to really feel the kind of dissonance between where they are, where they want to be, where they thought they would be. Is this really all there is to life? That kind of thing. And I've been having some great conversations with them just as friends about, all of the different things that I have been learning about, and a lot of human design stuff. And a couple of them have let me do their charts, which has been really fun. I've just been helping them kind of see little pieces about their chart. And so I was talking to her about this. I'm just like feeling the messages that's coming through and like which bits are relevant. So as I was talking to the lovely lady doing my nails, I was telling her about this. Like how lovely it was to be able to have this forum in which to share all the things that I've learned just with friends or people at the gym or people who kind of have approached me outside of my business, who are likely never going to become clients because they're not necessarily where I would be pitching my offerings or to whom I would be pitching my offerings. But the level of conversation is so interesting that we inevitably kind of get into things. And just because of the way that I am, I love to help people understand themselves. That makes me feel really like satisfied and fulfilled. So I'll often end up taking people down that route in conversation anyway. And small talk's never been my thing. And so I was talking to my lovely nail lady about this, and she was interested, and she was chatting. We were having a really good conversation. And then the lady who was sitting in the chair next to me, who was like, well, 2 chairs over, because, not allowed to sit too close to another human, just in case you get infected with the plague. So she was a couple of seats down, and she turned to me and said, "So what is it that you do?" I was like, "Oh, I am a spiritual business coach, effectively. I help people, and like I said, well, it's like, I don't really know how to explain it. That's kind of the easiest way I can explain it. I help people to release trauma from their bodies. I help people to understand themselves better. I use a variety of different modalities and techniques." And I kind of listed a few. And as I was listing, I was like, oh my God, there's so many more. There's so many things that I have in my armory now. And she, she asked me, and I thought, oh, she's just interested. So we were just chatting. And then she started talking about how her kind of awakening, if you like, had happened a bit later in life, and how she discovered breathing, and how breath work had really helped her with things. And I said, oh, and that's interesting, because in 5-element theory, which I'm studying at the moment, so I'm like, it's like really at the front of my mind. It's like, oh, in 5-element theory, when we breathe in through the nose, that's like the portal to the lungs, which is It's like drawing chi, it's like drawing energy and divinity from the heavens down into the body through your nose. I was like, because the lady who teaches the 5 element stuff, Michelle, something she said about breathing in, like, you're breathing in the heavens, you're breathing in this divinity. I was like, oh, that really landed with me. And when this lady was saying that, I reflected that. I was like, oh yeah, it's really amazing, isn't it? Because really, when you think about it, breath is like, we take it for granted. It's like when you breathe in, you're actually like, you're breathing in life. If you weren't breathing in, you're dead. So like, how amazing is that? So anyway, I just said one sentence about that. I was like, oh yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Because you're breathing in divinity. And she went, forget all that. I was just like, really, like, like, no, I don't want to hear about that. And I was like, ooh, okay, that was a bit of a slap in the face, but all right. And I kind of just felt the energy of it in my body, and I was like, ooh, okay. Doesn't matter. I've done this, I've done that, I've done this, I've done that, blah, blah, blah. And this is the thing. It's so easy. It's so simple. Breathing. And I was like, yeah, it is really powerful stuff. You're doing breath work. I was like, for sure. And my nail lady was like, oh, I don't know if I'd find it that easy. And I just said to her, I think everyone finds their thing. I think everyone who has this kind of awakening about how to regulate the nervous system, how to deal with their own internal traumas and their own stories and patterns, and anyone who's been through a transformational journey and it's really had a positive impact on their life, people can become very impassioned about the particular thing that has taken them to that place. And, when I first learned EFT, I was like, holy fuck, everyone needs to learn EFT, because I was like the person who thought every problem was a nail and I had the hammer that could fix it. I was like, yes, EFT is everything. But the fact is, and it just was interesting to me how that lady was like, forget all that. Like, oh, no, don't forget all of it, because I've got an exam next week, so I better not fucking forget all of it. And it was just interesting to me. I was like, oh, actually, it was a reminder to me of how everybody has their own journey. And regardless of whether you are running a business or deep in a spiritual practice, an artist, maybe you don't do any of those things and you're just here for other reasons, and hello and welcome. But I just found it so interesting how sometimes we can forget, and myself included, sometimes we can forget that everybody is on their own unique path. And it's never our job, particularly as like spiritual business owners or people who have like got these amazing modalities or whatever. It's never our job to convince somebody that what we do or what we have learned works. The best way for us to really show people how incredible the modalities or the path, the life lessons, or the things that we've learned. For me, as a 6/2 manifesting generator, part of the way that I do that is purely by using the modalities on myself. It's about doing the work on myself and allowing myself to heal and grow and expand and get more and more radiant and more magnetic and softer and more powerful, or whatever it is that I desire for my life. And in doing so, and in fully embodying what I want to be and who I want to be in the world in any given moment, that's really the best way for me personally to, I don't know, like sing the praises of the amazing modalities that I've used. And like even yesterday when I kind of put that post up and I was joking about the fact it's taken me about 800 transformational processes and several million meltdowns for me to finally, be like have a level of love for my body and the gym and like take care of myself in a different way. There's truth in it. There is truth in it. There's truth in the fact that, do you know what is dawning on me right now is, I think sometimes when people have been in such a huge level of pain, that when they find, and this is certainly true for me, but I'm just like reflecting on that conversation I had earlier. Sometimes when people have been in so much pain or confusion or stuckness, or like they've been struggling for such a long time, when you remove a layer for them and they put some of those energetic and emotional bags down, they have this influx of like, oh my God, I feel so much better now. And I think the difference is in my makeup and the way that I desire to live my life. I don't think there's ever going to be a point that I reach where I'm like, oh, that's it now, I'm done. I don't want to feel any better than I feel right now. And that's not because I don't feel good. It's because I'm aware of the impact of the kind of work that I do and the limitlessness of human potential. So for me and for my clients, it's less about I'm in pain and I need to not be in pain anymore. And it's more about, oh, there's this thing that I want, or this person I know I'm meant to be embodying, but for some reason I have resistance to fully allowing that into my life, or allowing myself to like fully own, step into and embody that person. And then that's the kind of work that we're doing. So yes, it is a fucking privileged and luxurious position to be in. And I will not, I'm not going to say that everyone right now has the emotional or financial or physical resources to make that happen for themselves, because everybody is at a different place in their journey. And I don't judge you for where you are on yours. All I know is that I have definitely spent a lot of my time trying to, the way that it comes into my mind is like rescue the baby chicks. I've spent a lot of time trying to get people to see how incredibly limitless they are, regardless of their physical circumstances. And when I look at a person, what I see, and I've said this before, what I see is just like this shining light of potential, like a diamond inside of you that is shining. And I'm like, when I'm speaking to you, that's what I'm speaking to. That's what I'm communicating with, that part of you inside that is like the seed, the shiny, beautiful seed that holds the key to your ultimate infinite potential. And we just kind of like put so many layers and layers over it. Like emotional things happen, traumas happen, physical things occur. We take in toxins from our environment. We take in emotional toxins. So many things happen to us, even in the womb, like in utero, we're already picking things up, vibrations, frequencies. We're picking up, traumas and beliefs and ideas about the world in the cells whilst we're being formed in the fucking womb, right? So already we might come through as this perfect like fractal of consciousness, this little glimmer of light, but then immediately we're getting programmed by things and almost like swaddled in all of these different beliefs and what have you. And really, yes, it can be as easy as breathing and coming back to that place of peace. And yet there is also a deep desire in me and the people that I work with to take it to that next place. And I think that might be my sixth line in human design, this kind of place of visionary where we like see everything like 800 steps beyond where it is right now. So you come to me and you're like, oh, my business is here, I don't know what to do, and I've got this, and I feel like I've made money, but I don't really know what to do next, and I feel disconnected from my purpose, and I don't know what my purpose is, and what is my path, and who am I? And I'm like, oh, I see you. I see who you are at your core. And my aim is always to just continually bring you back to that place of deep, deep knowing within yourself. And so, yes, it can be as easy as breath. It can be as easy as just talking it out. It can be as easy as just dancing and moving the energy through your body. It can also be a combination of other things as well. So whatever your path looks like, if someone else appears to have it easier, maybe they do. Maybe they do have it easier, right? But that's their path. So when we allow ourselves the gift of releasing the comparison of how someone else's journey looks and how we perceive it to feel compared to our own, we really free ourselves from all of those kind of chains, and like the handcuffs of comparison are just so destructive to creativity. So I guess my message to you today, as I've said many times during this live stream, is it takes as long as it takes. It's your journey. Everybody has a unique path, and there's no harm in witnessing another person's path and seeing something and feeling like a trigger, good or bad, and then asking yourself like, oh, I feel something about what that person has or what I perceive them to be experiencing in the world. Is that something I want for myself? And getting clear on, is that something I want for myself, or is it just something that I kind of have built up a story around? Like, many of my friends have these incredibly financially abundant businesses, way bigger teams than I have. They're making, multiple 7 figures, some of them. And I look at their business and I'm like, whoa. So it was quite triggering for me a few months ago. And then I looked at it and I was like, do I actually want that though? Do I really want a massive team and a multi 7-figure business like right now? Is that what I want today? And my body was like, no, that's not what I want today. Maybe in the future, but right now, today, my desires are actually more deeply rooted in my own contentment and my own happiness and satisfaction, and knowing myself enough that I feel I can have a grounded and solid foundation for whatever is coming next. So sometimes we're building and sometimes we're tending to the foundation and making sure that everything is ready for that next step. So wherever you are on your own journey, when you release judgment and fall into a place of deep acceptance, not complacency. I'm not saying give the fuck up, like we all know that ain't my style, but accepting where you are and who you are in this moment, accepting what your true desires are, and then allowing yourself to actually connect with those desires, even if they feel really fucking far away. If a desire exists in your heart, then it is absolutely achievable for you and you are destined for it. But don't judge yourself if it's not here yet. Because when you fall into that place of judging yourself for where you are right now, that's when you end up fucking yourself up and you end up stalling the manifestation of the thing. You end up holding the universe at bay when all it wants to do is give. So the key, I feel, is really looking at our relationship with receptivity. And I've had such a massive journey with receiving. I even said to my beautiful mastermind ladies that the mastermind that I'm in with Elisa Canali, I said a couple of weeks ago, I was like, wow, it's taken me nearly 6 months to let you ladies in. Like good 4.5 and 5 months it's taken me. And the mastermind is 6 months long. And I'm like, holy fuck. It's only in the last couple of weeks. I mean, we finish in a few weeks. And it's only in the last couple of weeks that I really feel that I have allowed these amazing women in to support me, to know me and to love me. Because I didn't feel worthy of their love on some level, because I was judging where I am on my journey versus where some of them are on theirs. And actually, they're not judging me. We've all got stuff to work through. Doesn't matter what level of business, the more I see and experience these incredible, powerful, multi-millionaire businesswomen, I'm like, we're all still human and we've all still got stuff, no matter what level anyone is at. There's something that people work through, because the nature of the beast is the people who are drawn to the kind of work that we're doing in that mastermind, and the same is true for my clients that come to me. We are like dedicated and passionate about growth to a place that most people, like most people who are just like kind of in the matrix, if you will, can't even comprehend the level of growth that some of these women have. And maybe I'm one of those women. I don't, it's hard to see myself sometimes, but when I look at them, I'm like, fuck, the amount of money they're making, the level of success that they have, the level of flow some of them have, where they just decide something and things just show up for them. I'm like, whoa, this is so fucking cool. And I am inspired as fuck right now by how easy that appeared for you. that level of ease, that level of like ease, grace, and flow in manifestation and in the living and receiving of life, it doesn't, well, maybe it can, and this is a belief, but in my experience and in my field currently, there's still work to be done to allow that level of ease in. And it's really just about, a lot of the time we'll hit that point of like tension, and we'll see that resistance or that tension, we'll feel it, and we'll be like, oh, this obviously isn't for me. And actually, sometimes that feeling of tension in the body is really just your nervous system like acclimating to the feeling of what it is about to receive, the feeling of what it would be like to receive what is on its way. And so sometimes I will just be sitting on the couch and I'll just feel like this wave of energy wash through my body, and I just have to sit there. And I kind of used to have this feeling of like, I feel like this is like what people mean by like downloading. And now when it happens, I actually am, it feels like the cells in my body are upgrading. It feels like almost like I'm being like in some sci-fi movie where they go wah, wah, with lasers, and like you know, they scan the person. It's like, it feels like that. It feels like I'm being recoded with some new blueprint, you know, that I'm suddenly, like I've unlocked a level in the fucking Matrix. I've unlocked a level in the video game, and I've like stepped further out of the Matrix and into the magic. Maybe that's the name of my next program. Step out of the Matrix and into the magic. Writes it down. Oh, that's good. Who wants to sign up for that? Let's just launch it now. That would be a very Nolly thing to do, would it not? Yeah, so that's it really. This took some strange twists and turns, but as always, I trust that you got what you needed. So I would love to know in the comments, what is your main takeaway from this live stream? What is something that you can implement today that will help you become more embodied in who you truly desire to be and who you already know that you are? And just ask your body, you know, what's next? What's the next step? You don't have to have the whole fucking thing figured out. All you need to know is what has worked for you to get you to this point will likely support you in moving to a next level. And it's also okay if you want to try some new things. So don't be, you know, allow yourself to remain in your sovereignty even when you're learning new things. Remember that when you have this desire to learn new things, I actually said this to a client today, like if you're going to ask questions and you've got an open head center, for example, I was like, if you're going to ask a question, ask yourself first, am I asking this question because I actually want to implement this in my life and use it? Or is this just my like open center and addiction to like learning and needing to feel that open center like fucking buzzed off my tits, and I'm not actually going to implement it. I just feel like I constantly need to eat more information through my brain. So when you feel called to learn a new modality or start studying something else or work with a new mentor or a new coach, if you go in grounded in your intention about why you're working with that person, so not getting attached to the outcome, but what is your intention? What is drawing you to this person? What do you feel they're going to add to your existence? What are they going to help you access within yourself that you feel like you need to access, but for some reason you just, you know, sometimes we can't see those parts of ourselves because we've got very good defense mechanisms and we're very good at just like not seeing them and shutting ourselves down. And the same is true if you feel to work with me, like what is it about me? Or what do you feel when I speak to these things? What do you feel when you listen to me speak? What do you feel when you think about, when you see my content or how I live my life or the way that I show up in my life, all those kind of things? What does that activate inside of you that you really want to learn how to access more consistently? And then come and let's play. Let's do the thing. I have 2 spots left to work with me one-to-one in May. After that, I imagine I will be doing something in June, but I don't know what that is right now. All I know is that I have the 2 spots for May. So if that is for you, that is my highest level offering that I'm doing in May at the moment. I'm only taking a very, very small number of people because it's a very high level of energetic investment for me as well. And I want to make sure, as always, because open will center life, I want to make sure that everyone who signs up for that gets exactly what they need and that they feel held, supported, and, you know, that I'm available for them energetically fully. So if that sounds like the level of work that you want to do with me, do reach out, because once they're gone, and I will not be extending that to take more people on. I have set that boundary with myself and I will be sticking to it. So let me know if one of those spots is for you. If not, I hope you enjoyed my little ramble chat today. Love you, bye.